don't know how people do this carrying a camera around and vlogging thing. This camera is really heavy. Right, so today I'm going to be talking about Tor Freeman. So for anyone who doesn't know who Tor Freeman is, she is a illustrator, I believe based in the UK. She's someone whose work I came across a little while ago, and I like her even more now because I got to meet her, and she's really cool. She's a really nice person. So I met Tor at Thought Bubble. If you don't know, Thought Bubble is a big comic convention in Leeds that's held every November. You know, it's comics, so you get a lot of stuff to do with like Marvel, DC, all of that kind of stuff going. But what's been making it really huge is that a lot of independent UK-based comic creators and illustrators have started exhibiting there. You get a whole mix of people. You'll meet some new up-and-coming people. You might meet people who have been in the industry for ages but haven't gone to conventions before. It's really cool. So I met Tor Freeman, completely surprisingly, because I just went into the first hall that I usually go into, and she was there, and I was like, hey, I recognise that person's artwork, I'll go talk to them. And she ended up just being like so lovely, because I've been to conventions to meet artists a few times over the last few years, and it always feels kind of hard to talk to people, especially when you've been admiring their artwork so long, and then also, you know, they've been talking to people all day, they're probably really tired. Also, you know, a lot of artists are quite anxious and aren't very good at talking to people and that kind of thing. But I spoke to Tor for ages. I went up to her and I was just saying about how, oh yeah, I've seen your work before, is this your first convention? Talking about how I've always wanted to go to get a table at Thought Bubble, but I've always been really unsure about it. What I bought from her on that day were this print, which is rad, and I can't wait to put it up in my office, and also one of her children's books, the Toucan Brothers. One of the things I really like about Tor's work is her illustrations always feel very alive. Like, there'll be a lot of things going on in the background. Say, for example, in the Toucan Brothers, in every scene you've got, like, you know, your main focal point, the stuff that's important, but then everywhere else there's constantly something else to be looking at, something interesting. And the whole book for the Toucan Brothers anyway, for me it's very nostalgic feeling for a lot of things that I liked from my childhood. To say, for example, in the way the Toucan Brothers are designed and how they look subtly hints towards kind of Mario and Luigi in my opinion, but it's not so much and so obvious that you kind of feel overwhelmed by it and like it's an obvious thing. And then on top of that, because there's so much going on and the fact that you've got these busy images where it feels like it's a living scene where you can picture what each individual person's doing, it reminds me of these old maze books that me and my sister used to have when we were kids. There was one, I think it was like the Monster Maze book, where you had to go through mazes in a way that meant that you didn't get caught by the monsters, but then you'd have these scenes that were just absolutely chock-a-block full of different characters and monsters that you had to pay attention to where they were looking, what they were doing. And it feels very reminiscent of a lot of the kind of books that I was interested in when I was younger and that I still get interest in. So yeah, that's Tor Freeman. If you like the look of her stuff, go check her out. I'll put links to her portfolio and stuff in the description, and I will see you next time.